Yo, I'm ShowYouSuck.
I'm Auggie the 9th. This is a super cold interview.
Was I supposed to say that too? In terms of my influences, musically, under 3000, definitely like a lot of the South, especially right now, especially in terms of trap music. Anyone who's a little more carefree with their music also.
That's funny because like mine are probably like people that do like mine are like Eminem and MF Doom, like just people that like probably overcomplicate. So like it's funny because like he does like a lot of like not even simple but like very stylized stuff, and I like try to be like super intricate and like sometimes over people's heads based off of my influence.
My favorite live album is Led Zeppelin How the West Was Won. That's a really rad live album. Probably my favorite Southern rap album is 8 Ball Lost. My favorite, East Coast. I think my favorite East Coast album is Nas' It Was Written. I think that was way better than Illmatic. People may shoot me in the face for that, but I'll stand on that. My favorite West Coast album is actually the East Siders' first album. From Chicago. My favorite album from Chicago. Probably Final Take. No, I like Good Side, Bad Side better than Final Take, actually. That's why.
I would say my favorite creative album, like by far, like I listen to it, I'm like, God damn, like how you come from that? Like Andre 3000, Outkast.
Oh, what is wrong with me?
The Love Below.
Yeah.
The Love Below, like a lot of my favorite albums have like moments in my life and shit. Like I remember being in a Foot Locker at River Oaks Mall, listening to The Love Below after listening to Speaker Box and being like, this shit is totally different. Like it's not even like this is a hip hop album right now, but it's like jazz and shit, like that type of shit. So I think that's my favorite like creative album. Chicago wise, I would probably say Commons Beat. That's like a fucking crazy album. Like I was in college and shit and like listening to it and being like, this is not the song that I thought was my favorite one, but that song is still fucking crazy too. So you know.
When I first started rapping, my first name was Shownuff. It was based off movie The Last Dragon, and like coming up and like meeting like different Chicago rappers that are like already like doing shit in Chicago. We ran into there's a group at the time called Soldiers at War, and there was a member in there named Shownuff. So just like out of respect of like those who came before me, I like dropped enough from the name, and I was just Show. And for years, I was just Show. And like coming in, especially with like the internet age and everything, and I decided that maybe I need to like add something to it. And at the time, I had started doing a call and response that I still do to this day at my shows, where I go, show is so awesome, and the crowd goes, show you suck. I was like, man, that'd be really dope. I should just name myself Show You Suck. Like, yeah, it'll be a really interesting name. When people come across it, they'll probably be interested to find out what kind of music I made. So I just named myself Show You Suck.
When I like first started rapping, like I couldn't come up with like a good name. Like I was like, man, like I want to like I hung out with like a whole bunch of like people in Pilsen, and like just like over super lyrical people and shit. And I was like, man, I want to have like a strong name. So like a lot of stuff, like I try to think like, oh, what is actually a part of me that I can make into a name that I would. Regardless if somebody laughed or regardless if I lost at something or if I didn't do something, if I fell off, I could still have a good integrity about it. And like I was actually listening to Commons, it's on Fire Forever. Southside, and he has a line which is like still a cold line to me. It's like, about to school y'all niggas, you can call them August. And like from that day, I was like, oh, that's dope. And then like my birthday is August the 9th, so I mean that correlates in it. But you know, like if somebody's like, what does that mean? Like, oh, it's my birthday. And then like people all the time go like, yo, when's your birthday? Oh, okay. Yeah, your birthday is on August the 9th. So I mean, it's a part of me. I can't change that part of me. Like it's, you know, so I feel like that was a good name to pick. So that's exactly pretty much where that name came from.
That was set up. That was actually set up by Nick Mora, who's a part of City of Wind. He told me I did a few songs for the City of Wind mixtape, and he had the title. That's all he had. He's like, I want to do this song called True Illuminati, and I was like, yo, that's dope as hell. Let's do that shit. And he set up the session for me to meet up with him and Henny B. When we came in, like Stephen Clark already had the beat. That was my first time hearing the beat, and of course that shit was rad as hell. And we all just kind of wrote like verses separately, and we all laid them, and then there was like room left for the hook, and there wasn't really a hook. And I just kept thinking about the Tupac line, Illuminati for my mind, soul, and my body, secret society trying to get down. And I was like, obviously you should do something with that. And then I thought of the line, if we fuck with had children, and like I just kind of like had those two and just came up with stuff in the middle to like bridge it together. And so you have True Illuminati. Yeah, South by was awesome. Like it was like super like life changing. Just kind of like it definitely gave a new look to how we're affecting people outside of Chicago. Yeah. Just kind of go to shows and see people like knowing songs, and like people like coming up and approaching, like just like being in the streets, and like how well everybody took to everything, and then coming across people who I definitely listened to and careers I looked after, and them knowing who I am already, and like seeing footage of us perform already, and like already being fans, like was super dope. Well, probably be we did a Ruby Horn and Digital Fresh TV2 event. That was definitely the funnest one. It was like felt like an underdog. Yeah. Like, and plus I hosted it, so it kind of gave me like a leg up, sort of. But definitely felt like the low guy on the totem pole. Show is so awesome. Show is so awesome.